but I mean, be careful that you don't plagiarize. That's a word. Because
Okay.
one thing is that it is not good when you have finished writing everything, like the paper is ready, you're about to submit, you run the plagiarism test, and then you check, and it's about 80 to 95% plagiarized. That means we have to go back and do the whole work again. Then the question is, why didn't you do it the right way from the beginning? Why didn't you do the right thing from the beginning instead of waiting for the whole paper to be drafted before you are coming back to, I mean, do this kind of changes and all that to make things some way. So I encourage people to always do their best to. I think one of you, your audio is on. Is it Leo or Annette? Your audio is on. It's echoing. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so you have to do your best to put it in a way. It doesn't also mean that you have to be like perfect, but this is what I tell people: put them in your own words. Yes, maybe you'll be copying from this, you are following what they wrote and all that. But one, read it, understand it, get the understanding, and then write the same thing. But don't write exactly the same. I don't know whether you are getting it. Annette, do you get what I'm saying? It's like, somebody would just copy this thing and put it there, exactly the same thing. Don't do that.
Yes, I get
But
it.
you can follow
Paraphrase.
what they have written, paraphrasing or putting the whole thing in your own something, that will make sense than just putting exactly the same thing, copying exactly the same thing. Joe Dickey, what's he saying? Okay, respond to him later. Okay, so we start with the set strategy. So let's take note of this. So here in the set strategy, I'll send you the document that we're trying to put together. Okay.
Okay.
Remember the other time when we met, there was a document that we're using EV. Yeah, this one. So yeah, this document. So in this document, okay, anyway, I'll let you start writing. If you have a question, you ask me, then I'll tell you what to write, because I think that will be better than that we'll waste time doing this. Then when you are writing to you, maybe some questions may come up, then you have to come back and come and ask me again. So
Okay.
you start writing it. When you have a question, you can ask. But in this set strategy, what you are supposed to write about is, one, you have to tell us the method that we are using. In this review, the method that we are using is the Prisma. The Prisma.
Okay.
Did I explain the Prisma or have not?
Not totally. You mentioned it a couple of
Okay,
times.
so I said the Prisma is just a checklist. Okay, just having a guideline. It's a guideline, a checklist.
Okay.
Like you get up in the morning, you list. You list the things that you want to go and buy in the market. So when you get to the market, when you get to the shopping center, when you get to the shopping mall, when you get to the whatever you want to call it, you just check the things that you have listed against whatever you are buying, because it's possible sometimes you may buy more than what you have listed, right? It happens that way, or it doesn't. It has been happening.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so it's just a checklist. I will use the word guide, a guideline to help you to know whether. So it asks questions. So because it's a checklist, it has a way of asking questions. One, have you put in something like the research title? Where did you get the data from, the data? I just want to get one of them, so I'll show the 2021. So it will ask you such questions, then you'll be answering them. And once you are answering them, that means you are doing the right thing. Then as you are doing the right thing, that means you are getting closer to achieving your goal as far as that review thing that you are doing is concerned. So I'm trying to get the checklist for you. No, it's not here. Okay. Okay. I think it will be this one. Yeah, good. So this is how it is. So this is it. Can you see Annette?
Yes, I can see it.
Good. So this checklist has already been put together. You are not the one putting together. It has already been been put together by a group of experts, and they update it once in a while. The last one that we had was the 2015 one, and then in 2020 they updated it. So the current one that everyone, if you are using the Prisma checklist, you have to use the 2020. If you use the 2015 one, it's possible you may be questioned. Okay, so this is how it works. So these things have already been listed. So as you can see, it starts from the title, the abstract, the introduction, method, up to the conclusion. Everything is in there. So it asks you questions like, for example, the first one, identify the report as a systematic review. So where can we see that if we take your document, if we take your draft, your drafted document, your manuscript, where can we find the title of the work? That's one. And then where can we also find whether you have indeed reported that document or that manuscript is a systematic review? Where can we find it? So location where item is reported, we need to find it. So if we are looking at ours, or if you are going to do using ours, I want to just give you one manuscript I just put together. I have a number of them, just one of them. One of them is here. So in this manuscript, which is on AI, one of our papers nearly got acceptance. They said minor review. Okay, so in this paper, okay, you can see that the method section is in page 3. Okay, can you see the page? This is page 1. Before this is page 2. So this is page 3. Can you see that? This page? Yeah. So when you are writing, so you have to put it there. You have to put it in there. Let me take you back to the location. So location where the item is reported. Then you write page 3 or page 2. Good. Then the next one is see the Prisma 2020 abstract checklist. Okay. Okay, this is another one. Abstract. Good. So the abstract 2, there's a way to put together the abstract as far as the 2020 Prisma is concerned. So there's a way to do that. So when we are trying to put our abstract, there's a way. In other words, the normal, if you are going by the Emerald Insight checklist, Emerald checklist, let me show you Emerald 1, which I have also been using for quite a long time now. So any of my papers, okay, let me use one of my papers to show you. So according to Emerald Insights, if you want to put together an abstract, this is how the abstract should be structured. 1, the abstract must have a purpose. As you can see, I've structured it, the purpose. The abstract must have design, method, and approach. You have to talk about that. The findings, practical implications of the abstract, the originality or the value of the article of the paper. So this is how, according to Emerald Insights, you have to structure your abstract. So Prisma also has a way of you structuring your abstract, and there's a checklist for that. In other words, what's maybe the purpose must come first, this must come that, and all that. So they are here. Okay, the other one. Yeah. Good. So it must have, you have to give a brief description of the background, then the method, the resource, a little bit of discussion where maybe you include some limitation, then other issues which are important, you can include the finding and then the registration, if they are. And one thing I want to say is that it's a checklist. It doesn't mean you have to put everything there or everything must be included, because some studies, some of these things are not needed, and therefore you don't have to report them. So where they are not needed, you can write here NA, N/A, which is not applicable. Is that okay? Good. And when we are submitting the manuscript, we have to submit this with this because we are using Prisma. Let me go back and show you one paper I've done for one professor in this school. Some work I'm doing for work I'm doing for just let me show you. Yes, Andre. The thing is still in progress. The one? I think so, one of them. Yeah, good. This is what I wanted. So as you can see, okay. So this is, I mean, we use somebody's paper. This is a paper that I downloaded, and we're using it as a guide. So this is what we have used, but the other one is there. I don't want to show you that paper because it's still in progress. But this is what we followed, a similar one. And this one, they used the Prisma 2009.
Okay.
It's almost the same as the Prisma 2020. There's some few modifications. Okay, so as you can see, you see the title, and then where was it reported, or the page? See in page 1. Have you seen that? And then the abstract, where is it reported? Page 2. Introduction of the paper, where is it reported? And so forth, and so forth, and so forth, up to the last one. So when we are presenting, or when we are going to submit our study, we need to add this table as well. Okay, but for now, we can leave it. Annette, you forget about that, but just talk about the Prisma, please.
Okay.
Don't worry yourself about this table because we are not there yet. This table is done when the final document, that's the final thing that we are going to do before the paper is submitted, finally. So we are not there yet. But I'm just trying to show you how some of these things work.
Okay.
Now let's come back to our methodology thing that we are looking at. So yes, so conceptualize according to 2015 Prisma, but we are going to use the 2020 Prisma. We are not going to use the 2015. So now at least you have an idea about what I'm talking about, the guideline, the Prisma checklist or guidelines. Okay, so this systematic review considered both peer-reviewed and gray literature. Okay, and I explained this to you, that the peer-reviewed articles or documents are the ones that normally go through the editorial processes. They include conference papers, journal articles, and then some of these book series, some of them, not all of them, they go through the peer review. Then we have the gray literature. And normally these peer review documents are published by academic institutions, students, academics, professors, doctors, lecturers, whatever, research assistants. They normally go about this peer review document. Then we have the gray literature. Gray literature are normally documents produced by institutions which are not academic. But one thing is that you need to also understand it, even though I explained it that way to you the other time, but it can also be possible that thesis can also come under the gray literature. Why? Because normally thesis, they don't go through the peer review process. The general peer review process. It doesn't mean that theses are not reviewed. They are, but they don't go through that kind of rigorous peer review process. So depending on the thesis that you are looking at, that thesis can also be a gray literature. And that is the reason why it is good. We have to score the document that we are going to use, whether it is peer review or gray literature. But by scoring them, we get to know whether it is indeed a peer review document or is a gray literature. So gray literature reports from PwC, as PricewaterhouseCoopers, reports from KPMG, reports from Ministry of Finance, reports from Ministry of Works and Housing, reports from CONSA Construction, right? It's CONSA, or it's not called CONSA.
Yes, CONSA.
Yeah, so they are considered to be the great literature. It can also be a report from an activist, or what we call the rights organizations. They can also put out there some of these, because normally some of these reports and some of these documents, institutional documents that are put out there, they don't go through peer review process. It's just like those people in that institution, based on whatever they have done or the work or something, they just put something together and they put it out there. They don't normally submit it to a journal for reviewers to review it and then go for the first round, second round, third round, fifth round. No. No.
Okay. So
Once,
content articles are peer reviewed, right?
yeah, they are peer reviewed, but just that
Okay.
even the peer review, we have two types of peer review. I mean, okay, I will not say types, but I will say we have levels. That's the right word. Levels of review in terms of its how rigorosity, how rigorous the peer review process is. So normally articles that are published by what we call Q1 journals. So, I mean, Leo and Annette, you can go and read about it. It's something that we call Q1 journals, Q2 journals, Q3 journals. And then, I mean, some people say Q4, but I have not really seen Q4. What is Q1 journal? Q1 journal is a journal which is highly ranked. They are normally highly ranked. They are part of the what we call the is it the 3/4 or 3/4 percentile? 3/4 or 3/4 is for 35%. Yeah. Yes, normally. And some even among the Q1, we even also have even divisions. There are some of them that are highly ranked. Let me show you recently just something small, then we go very fast. SciScore just released their 2002 journal ranking. And you can see that some of the journals, some of them are highly up there, some of them too, they are just down there. Okay. Like if you look at a journal like Nature, they are here. So these are the journals. I mean, some of these journals, their impact factor is extremely high. The highest percentile, this is 99% up there. And most of them are medicine related, medical science. Nature, the Lancet, the Nature Reviews Drug Discovery, Nature Medicine, the New England Journal of Medicine, Cancer Journal for Clinicians, Nature Reviews Materials, Chemical
Wait,
Reviews.
so does it mean your school has published all these papers and they are
No,
top
no,
rank?
it means my school has access. No. My school has access.
Oh,
If
okay.
you want to go to any of these journals, my school has access. But it doesn't mean. And yeah, some of the people have published in my from my school have published here, but what this means is that these are the top ranked journals all over the world. Normally, these journals, when they put any article out there, or if you publish your article there, the possibility that a lot of people will read it, and it's possible it will become a topical issue on CNN, BBC, or any of these global media organizations is very high. So normally, sometimes when you are there, you hear that some people have discovered that now you can eat through your ears. You know, having to be reading such discoveries, or you have not been reading it. Annette, and
Yeah. I've been reading it. The
yeah,
BBC
yes,
website. Yeah.
such research output are normally published in these journals. They are they are top influential journals.
Okay.
Very high. Yeah. So I mean, when you get time, for the sake of time, let's move on. When you get time, you can look at these things. Okay. So yeah, then included a combination of mixed methods, qualitative and okay. A list of relevant text words. So after stating the systematic review method that we are using, or the approach, then you have to come and talk about the keywords that we use. Then from the keywords, you talk about the search engines. So in case you have forgotten the search engines, you can go back and look at the search engines that we discussed. Yeah.
Okay.
And included a combination of mixed method, qualitative and quantitative.
Yeah.
Must that appear? Because you are yet to review the papers.
Yeah. It must appear because when you are undertaking a literature review, you have to look at all, even though the literature review itself, that approach itself is a qualitative method.
Yeah.
Especially in our context. But the other day I explained to you that there's also another literature review which is purely quantitative. The literature review itself is a qualitative, but the document that you are going to use for the review, some of the documents, when they were putting that document together, some of them use mixed method. Some of them use
I understand.
qualitative.
I'm asking if we have already got to know if some have mixed method or quantitative in them. Because we are yet.
From where I stand, I can say yes. We will come to that point where we'll get all the three.
Okay.
And I'm basing this based on my experience.
Okay.
Yes, we'll come to a point where, because we are at least, we'll be working on about between 30 to 40 documents. And I'm confident that some of them will be mixed method, some of them will be qualitative, some of them will be quantitative.
Okay. And what of other, are we not going to see experimental research?
Yeah, so
okay, they will still fall under quantitative, so that's fine.
Yeah. And then also, in addition, as I mentioned to you, we will be using gray literature as far as this study is concerned, because this thing that we are doing is a little bit new. We don't have a lot of studies on that. And when I say a lot of studies, even though the other day we saw some studies or some papers, but when we start going into them, we'll see that the relevant ones will get like 10 or 15. The ones which are very relevant to this thing that we are trying to do, we may not even get 15. So it's possible we may add. I'm so not sure. I'm still working on this thing, on the papers. We may add some reports from institutions, reports from, for example, the New South Wales government. The other day I sent you one link, if you remember, the New South Wales government listing on EV and EV ready buildings. So we may add such documents to the work, and that is what we call the grey literature. Those documents are what we call the grey literature. Okay, then Annette, don't forget the academic databases that we are using. Please don't use DS, because these academic databases are relevant to those in that field, the social science and then the medical science field. In our field, I explained to you that the academic databases which are important in our field, they are Scopus, if you are taking notes, Scopus, Web of Science, EBSCO's host, and then PEPMED, ProQuest, And the last one is Google Scholar. So these are the ones I mentioned to you the last time, because these are the ones that a lot of people in our field, they have used to write their literature reviews. And I've cited examples and I've given reasons as to why we do that. So if you want to get more understanding, I recommend you to read my article on green finance and green building. Green finance and green building. Read that article. In that article, I've explained in the methodology session as to why I mean a lot of people in our what happened? Oh, okay, not me. A lot of people use Scopus and all that in our field. So get explanation as to why. Okay. Because if you don't give the explanation, anyone who is going to review our article may question us as to why didn't we use something like the ones that they have listed here. JSTOR, Medline, Sushi Index or Stocks Index, Sinahel, Embase, and Co. They may ask you, why didn't you look at that? And then you cite examples, including past studies. And you say that these are the ones which are common in the engineering and architectural management field. Okay, so the next one. Are you okay? Can we move on?
Yes, please. I'm okay.
The next thing to write also here is you need to give us the keywords. And these keywords, I have them here the other day when we were going through the review. Where is the document? Yes, Leo, please, you can talk. Go ahead.
Yes. So you just said a paper should be read. Could you please send those papers to myself as well?
I think you can get access to them. I can give you the titles.
Okay.
You check. If you can't get access.
Titles.
Yes, if you can't get access to the to the article, you let me know. I'll download and send. I'll send it to you. But you can. I think you can get access. You just try. I'll put it in the chat box. You try. I believe you can get access. If not,
yeah, I will.
Okay. Then you can also look at my other. I have a number of review papers. So just look at them. Focus on the methodology section. Just focus on the methodology section, including the recent one I published on Prisma. I use a Prisma. So just look at them from that point of view. Okay, let's keep going. So that is what you are supposed to put in there. So bring in the keywords. Okay. So now that's the set strategy. Now we come to the inclusion and exclusion criteria. So we write about the inclusion and exclusion criteria too. So here you can decide to list what we decided to add and what we decided not to add. I mean, upon what basis are we including studies and upon what basis are we excluding studies?
Okay.
That's all that inclusion and exclusion criteria is about. So if you get to this point and you have questions, you can ask me that, Isaac, how many years are we looking at based on the articles that we have? Okay, so what specific document are we looking at? So apart from the year, see, they have also talked about some documents which are not considered in this study. So they didn't consider editorials, opinion pieces, books, and book reviews, and also papers which were not published in English. It could be a peer review, it could be a good report, it could be whatever, but if it's not in English, they are out, so excluded. Okay, then they even went ahead to talk about any document which is not covering the scope on Rohingya refugees living in Bangladesh should be excluded. So in our case, we can say that any paper which is not EV building ready, EV ready building, EV ready building, or has nothing to do with EV ready building, they should be excluded. That's the scope of research. That is the reason why I mentioned that when we go through all these things, when we pass the whole thing through the fire, we pass them through the fire. The fire will burn some of the chaff. When we pass, so this is the fire. Your inclusion and exclusion criteria is like the fire that you set up.
Okay.
And based on this, you can exclude some of them. Yeah. Even here, they even went ahead to even mention that the paper must be written about Malaysia and Thailand. If the paper is not even about Malaysia and Thailand, it should be excluded. So you can imagine. So I have a paper that I wrote about PPP in Ghana, a review. So that paper, so that's what I did. Okay, where is that paper? Oh no, this one. Is that I think so. Yeah, this paper. There's also a review paper. And in this review paper too, I mentioned that papers which have been published, so although the study is limited to 60 articles in Ghana. Okay.
Okay. Well, which of your papers is this?
They are all online.
This one is what PPP. Okay.
Yeah, that was my PhD. That's my PhD.
Oh, okay.
My PhD is on PPP. Okay. I wrote this Augustine, Robert, and my professor. Yeah, so here too, I mentioned that it should be a paper which is only related to or is relating to Ghana. So it may be a good PPP paper, but if not related to Ghana, it should be out. So that's it. So here it should be about EV ready buildings. Let's keep going. And any other exclusion. So basically, these are the inclusion and exclusion criteria. If you want to read more, so here to Annette, I will encourage you to do more reading. That's one beauty about this literature review and the whole writing a review paper. You need to do a little bit more reading than what you are using as a guide. So you can decide to look at inclusion and exclusion criteria, a number of them. There are so many. You just check and read how people came about their inclusion and exclusion criteria.
But why do you usually go to the image section?
The reason I go to the image section is easy to identify some things.
I can just see it.
Yeah, because if I decide to open the document, some of these things is somewhere in page 85 or something, or page 20 something, and I can't be scrolling down. So once you go to the image section, it will just pop the image. The images in the documents out. So that's why I normally go to the image section. So that you don't struggle. Yeah. So yeah. That's it. Let's keep going. So please set a very good inclusion. I'll help you with this one because this is a very important section when it comes to inclusion and exclusion criteria. Extremely important. So I'll help you. So any question that you have, ask me as to what we are including and what we are excluding from this work. Okay, the next one is study selection process. So good. So this is where we come to how we selected the paper. So we have said inclusion and exclusion criteria and all that, but how did we do the selection? So there's a process to go about it. So first, what we have to do is to do title and duplicate analysis. Normally we call them the title and abstract screening. Okay, so if you want to, like what we got, I think the other day when we did a set, I think 300 and something came out, right? So out of the 300 and something, we can download all the 300 and something from the Google Scholar. Then we go to the Scopus, we get about 200 and something from them, we download. We go to Web of Science, we get maybe 85, we download. Then we put all of them together. When we put all of them together, it's possible some of them will be duplicates. When we say duplicates are documents that appear more than once in a list. So the same document repeating itself more than once becomes a duplicate. Is that clear?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you. Then once you get the duplicate out of the system, so that you see how I told you the thing will go through fire. So a lot of documents will go out.
Yeah.
Then you come to the title and abstract. When you also start reading the abstract and the title, like this document, for example, this is the abstract. So when you read the abstract, by the time that you finish reading the title and the abstract, you also get to know that, you get to know whether this document or that document that you are looking at is important to what you are trying to achieve or not. By the time that you finish reading the abstract, it will give you an idea. Because sometimes, this is the thing, the reason why that document has appeared in your list, in your search list, is that that document has a certain word, one of the keywords. Remember, we put in keywords. Remember the keywords, the EV buildings, the EV, the residential buildings, commercial buildings. It's possible one of these keywords, or it could be more than one, two, or all of them, appeared in some of these documents. But for all that you know, they just appeared in them, but they didn't really talk about what you want to achieve. It's just like they just appeared. It's just maybe somebody is trying to talk about what maybe what give me something to say. Start Cordier and Yvonne Nelson. Okay, so maybe Start Cordier in Yvonne Nelson's book, then all of a sudden green building will appear in it. Green building will appear. So when you do the search and that book comes out, that book's come out as one of your search results. It doesn't mean that book is talking about green buildings. Maybe Yvonne Nelson, at a certain point in her life, wanted to champion green buildings in Ghana. So maybe, or something, Doomsaw something. Then the green building thing came in. But actually, the book is not about green building. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like the thing is not about that. It is that it appeared in it. You get my point?
Yes.
Good. So that's how the whole thing is about. So when you get a result, that's the reason why when I get a result, you don't have to be too happy. Maybe you are doing this, you do the first search and the results come out, you say, hey, I have a lot of. Sometimes by the time that you go through everything, you may end up with about 3 or 4 documents which are even relevant to what you are doing. The recent work I'm doing for this professor, some of the searches we get about 8,000, 7,000, 6,000, 3,000. The results, like the first search results, when you put in the keywords and you search, you get the result that will come out 3,000, 4,000. But by the time that you go through everything and you bring everything down, the relevant documents in the 3,000, they are about 5, or they are about 15, or they are about 20, or they are about 30. So that's it. So get that understanding. So it is always good for you to do abstract and title screening. And by the time that you finish doing the abstract and title screening, some of the documents you will go out, you flash them out. Okay, now you are done with that. Then you come and look at the year. So once again, you apply the inclusion and exclusion criteria. So you look at when the document was even published. So if you have already set a base year, which personally I don't like setting a base year. I prefer all the years, unlimited, to be part of it. But some people prefer to set a base year. For example, here they set a base year. They said we set 1960 as the base year because after the military coup in Myanmar, In 1962, the Rohingya refugees started migrating to Bangladesh to escape persecution and human rights violations. Yeah, so they have a good reason. But normally I don't prefer to set a base because reviewers will question you as to why you are setting a base here. And if you don't really have a good reason, it's possible they may base that to reject your paper.
Yes,
So
I'm also concerned about the base here because this electric cars came not too long ago.
okay, I'm listening.
So why don't we set a base here for that? Because the last time you made a very solid argument that if someone is going to write about COVID, although COVID started 2019, it was
The 2020.
it became a pandemic when the WHO announced that yes, it was pandemic in 2020. So if someone sets a base for 2020, that would be good. So I'm also thinking about this electric cars when people started or researchers started saying that instead of using diesel cars or petrol cars, why don't we go strictly electric because of these fuels that causes is it carbon dioxide or whatever?
Yeah, the CO2, carbon emissions.
Yeah, so well,
Yeah,
based on
okay,
what
yeah, I get your point. But one of the things I've also come to realize is that when a topic is also new, the base here was set by itself. It was set by itself in a sense that you see that most of the articles will be very current, they will be new. Okay. So in that case, you don't even need to worry yourself. But if we after going through the document and we still get to a point where we think that the documents are maybe there are too many and we need to set a base here, I think we will do that. But for now, I think looking at the topic, the base here will set by itself because most of the papers are current. I can confidently say that most of the papers were published after 2010, most of them. So yeah.
Okay.
So we don't need to worry too much about that. Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the next one. And that is Annette. I hope you are taking notes. Any question? So once we are done with the abstract screening, we have to do, is that?
No question.
Okay,
sorry.
so the next point is after we have done the abstract screening, everything, most of the articles will go out. Now the next thing to do is we have to do the full reading of the remaining documents. So after you have taken some of them out, the ones remaining, you have to do full read. The ones that now you consider them to be important, you consider them to be relevant, you need to do full text reading. So we will do that. So full text, we'll read everything. And after reading everything, it's possible, once again, we'll also come to a conclusion that some of the articles are not important. Because some of the articles too, you may realize that maybe they talk about something important in the abstract, but the content is somebody says not. Ghana, people are funny. There's not like, I mean, it's not, I mean, it's not important. That document is not important. The documents are not important. So in their case, after they read the full document, they came to a point that I think 12 articles didn't. How many? 7 articles were further excluded out of the 19. So 12. Meanwhile, if you look at their 10, well, look at where they started from. They started from 752 documents. And after they did the full reading of the text, now they have only 12 to be important. So you get my point, what I was saying. They started the first initial search results gave them 752 documents. But after doing everything, duplicate, title screening, everything, inclusion, exclusion, blah, 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 reading full test, now 12 documents. Okay, so because the 12 documents are not enough, they decided to also search the gray literature, and that's where the report and all that will come in. So additional gray literature search, including screening of organizational website and Google Scholar provided another 17 reports. Full text screening of the report led to the exclusion of 5 reports. So even the report 5 were also taken out to be not important. So they had 12 also from here. So a manual set of the bibliographic references of all the retained articles and reports identified additional 6. So they also decided to do some searches in terms of the document that they deem to be important. They look at their references. Okay, their referencing list at the end of the manuscript. And they also got 6 additional reports and 1 article that they deemed to be important. So 24 plus 7, they ended up having 31 documents to work with. Yeah. So that's it. Any question for me? Hello, any question?
No, it's
Please.
good. Like, yeah.
Okay.
You explain what gray literature. Was it gray review or gray literature?
Gray literature.
Please, explanation again was what?
Gray literature is a literature not a literature that has not gone through the peer review process.
Okay.
Okay.
And
normally start documents are published by non-academic institutions, but it doesn't mean that always gray literature are from non-academic institutions. Academic institutions too can also produce gray literature, because don't forget, KUST, any other university like Legon, whatever, they also produce reports once in a while. Okay, and then thesis, books, and other things that come from these universities, they can also be considered as part of the gray literature.
Okay.
Okay. Any other thing? No other question.
So yes. So in that case, if after going through I think the last time we had maximum was it 70 something. After going through that, and then we realize that assuming we get to 10 of the papers being relevant, and we decide to go and search for gray literatures. How is that done? Or is it just
very simple.
putting the keywords again, but not?
This time around, we can even use the title of the word to just do the search.
Okay.
And our focus will be more of looking at reports, institutional documents, institutional reports, and that will be our focus. This time around, we will not be looking for journal articles, but our focus will be more on institutional reports, institutional documents. Yeah. Okay. Now let's come to the next thing, which Annette you have to write about, and it has to do with there's something that was written. The final results were compared to ensure that a consistent approach was taken to evaluating the research based on selection criteria. In cases of discrepancies, consensus was agreed through discussion by researchers. In other words, we all have to work together. That's why I want everybody to be around. You have a question, you ask me, because this thing is not one person's job, even though Annette is the one who's going to lead this section and write it. But it's not like once she's done, then it's holy grail. Is it holy grail, as they say? Like everything is kumbaya or something, everything is okay. No, we need to ask questions. We need to, if there's a place where we identify something which we think we need to improve, we will improve that section. And even in the selection process, I have to come back again. Like once I'm done, because I'm going to read these articles and put them together, I need to come and explain to you how I went about selecting the articles that we are using. Because these things are very important, so that one day when you put the article there, nobody will come and question you as to how did you guys get this data? How did you analyze this? How did you do this? You must be able to explain that. Okay, so where there is discrepancies in the selection process, the researchers had a discussion and they agreed on how to go about it. And they even had a third person, which in this context, Andre came in to resolve the issue. It's not really not like issue like they are fighting. Please understand it. It's not like they are fighting. There's like disagreement, or maybe there's something that even the two of them they don't really understand it well. Then they get an expert, somebody who is better. So a point will come where I'll give it to the two of you to do something. Once you are done, you bring it, we discuss it, and where it's necessary, I will add my input. Now we come to the data extraction and synthesis. We'll be closing soon. Okay, so with the data extraction and synthesis, we are all going to extract the data together. So what is going to happen is that once we identify the relevant documents, I will share them. Annette will do parts, Leo will do parts, and I also do parts. Okay, so here they decided to do it with two researchers out of the co-authors. Two of them decided to volunteer to do that. Extracted data into their EndNote libraries. Data extraction was done using a piloted form. This is not as important. The data extracted included. Okay, so this is what I will tell you to put down. Okay, so for example, the names of the authors, the year of publication, study design. I mean, this is intervention. This is more of medical science intervention. And this. Okay, and other relevant things which are basic about the articles. Then the study's aim and objectives. The study's aim and objective, we need to set our aims and objectives as to what we want to achieve as far as this work is concerned. What are we planning to see? What are we planning to achieve at the end of the work? So that too must also be, we have to set it. And once we set it, when you are reading, you can extract that for us. Then study characteristics, including the sample setting, the population and all that. And we may not need it, but you put it there for now. A grade literature was extracted using similar details by the primary researcher and subsequent research. So in other words, when we say extracting data, in other words, you are trying to pick important information from the articles. Let me give you an example. If you take this article, for example, which is my paper, so you can decide to take the names of the co-authors. So what are the names of the co-authors? So my name, Sean, Robert, and Fatima. Okay, so these are the names of the authors. Then you can also decide to take the name of the journal in which the paper was published. It can also be something that you can extract. Then the year the paper was published, you can also put it there. Okay, then also the study design, what method was used in this study? So you can just come here, you know the method. This is a systematic literature review. Then was it funding? Like, did any institution fund this? The answer is yes, this research is funded by Western Sydney University through the Western Sydney International Scholarship for Postgraduate Students. Okay, so these are some of the things that you can extract. We'll get there. The last but one, then we are done, is to do the quality assessment. And this is where we are going to rank the articles. And this is where your question will come in, Neil, as to why we are considering the qualitative mix and quantitative methods. The reason why we need to check whether a study is a qualitative, or quantitative is that it will help us in assessing their quality. There's a way to assess the quality of mixed method. There's a way to assess the quality of quantitative studies. There's a way to assess studies that use qualitative method. Okay, and I know all the method and the criteria as to how to go about it. Okay, so for example, I'm going to show you just one example briefly. So this table we'll need it at the end of the day, and we have to present it when we are submitting the work. There's this work I'm doing. So this is what we do. So this is the data that we have extracted. This is the study design, the quality assessment method. The quality assessment method is based on the type of study. If it's a gray literature, there is a way to assess its quality using what we call accords. If it's a cross-sectional study, there's a way to cross-sectional studies are normally tend to be quantitative studies. You use the JBI cross-section. If it's a report, which is a gray literature, you use accord. If it's a randomized control trial, there's a way to assess it, and so forth and so forth. We'll get to that point. Okay. Okay. Good. Now we go to the last section that you have to run. That has to do with the analysis. So how do we go about analysis? And this is where I don't know whether Leo, you are good. I mean, you can call yourself an expert in the in vivo. If you are good, we can use the software. If not, we can do it manually too. We can do it ourselves. If you are still not there yet, I'm talking about, you said you were going through some training with respect to in vivo. If you are okay, we can use the in vivo. But if you are not there yet, we can do it manually. That's the analysis, the actual analysis. So the analysis, we can go by the content analysis approach or by the thematic analysis approach. Any of them is acceptable. Okay. The methods, they explain the method into detail.
I'm a bit confused.
Okay.
The systematic literature, this that we are doing is qualitative.
Yeah.
Systematic literature, right?
Yeah.
Then, okay, I think I've answered the question. I've answered the question in my head.
Okay. Why? Is it because we had the mixed method and quantitative in it, or what?
Yeah, so I was
Yes.
just
Yes. Yeah, I get your point.
just...
But yes, I get your point. Irrespective of the method that were used to put that paper together, when it comes to this qualitative systematic review, you still have to apply that method to it, whether it's a quantitative, whether it's experimental study, whether whatever study, you still have to apply this method. Yeah, I get your point, but I mean, when it gets to this point, we are using purely qualitative method to analyze it, so the quantitative will not come in. Even though the data that we are using, some of them they use quantitative approach to put those papers together. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Annette, any question for me? Is she still online?
Yeah, I'm online. No, I think it's okay.
So what I'll do is
you have given.
You have to get this paper.
Okay.
I don't know whether you can download it from your end. You check whether you can.
No. If it's free, then let me see.
No, you check first.
Okay.
Check whether you can get access to it. If you can't, then I will download it and share it with you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I can get it for free. Let me see, download.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I can get it for free. Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Thank you. I've got it. I just downloaded it.
Yeah, so we need to set the timeline. Annette,
yes,
you need to give us a realistic timeline based on your busy schedules as to when you can get this thing written. So that when you bring it back, we will discuss, and then if there are changes, because that portion is your work. I mean, that's the section that you are writing. You may write other sections later on, but for now, that's your task. Based on your work, when do you think you can write this?
I think 1 week should be okay, right?
Yeah, nowadays I'm a little bit careful about giving people deadline because somebody has cried over me and the person has told me I'm not considerate. I'm inhumane. For
Okay. Can we do can we do on the 5th?
and this person is a
Let's
man,
say
not even a woman. But he said I'm inconsiderate.
No, you're trying to be gender biased here. But the
Oh
fact
no,
that he's a man
I'm
doesn't
sorry.
mean
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Sorry, I've
okay, let's
retracted
do
that.
on the
I've
5th. So
retracted that
next
word, that statement. Okay, yes, Annette.
yeah, I'm saying let's do next 2 weeks. So let's say I think we will meet on Wednesday, right? 5th. 5th.
Yeah, we'll meet on 5th. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's or not. Okay, we'll do that week. If it's not 5th, then it will be 7th.
No, I mean if he's not ready, that's fine because when we meet next week, we will not consider the methodology. We may look at the details of the abstracts because I just want us to finalize the document that we are using for this thing so that we can move on. Yeah, so we may look at that. Yeah.
A draft available in the second week, and then you can improve it from there.
But I want to say this. You have to work with all of us. If you have a question, please ask so that we don't waste too much time because other than that, like you finish writing, you bring it, we have to go back and that will not be helpful. So once you start writing, if you have any question, any of the sections, any statements, any whatever, you have a question, you can send me a text, or if you want us to talk, just like the way the other day you called me, we can talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Please let's all do our best because the journal that we are targeting is a good journal. One that we already have a good topic. So all that we have to do is to write it well. We have to write the whole thing well. Once we do that, I think our paper will get acceptance, and it will be good for you to start your publication life with a paper in a very top tier journal. That will boost your credentials, and it will even boost your morale. Yeah, and it's an intrinsic motivation. Hey. Is everything okay? You. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. The time is up. As I said, we will,
a seminar
unless you have
around 2 a.m. here. So
okay. Oh, okay. Oh, then I hope it went well.
Should go.
Are you now going to do it, or you have already done it already?
No, I did it at dawn. I did it with Hong Kong. The time difference.
Yeah, the Hong Kong, yeah.
Yeah. So from 2 a.m. to nearing to 6 a.m. and then I'm here.
Oh, yeah, okay. Then you have done so well. Thank you so much for
I need to go and sleep for like 1 hour and wake up.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your time.
No, this one is my time too. This one I don't have to appreciate.
Oh no, I mean, it's possible you should have given us excuse by saying that, oh, because of this I can't make it, but you have still tried, and you have been in the meeting throughout, and that's really good. Okay, yeah. So we are ending here. I wish everyone the best, especially over the weekend. Have a nice weekend, and we meet again during the week. It depends on the day that we are okay. It could be Monday, it could be Wednesday, any of the days that we are fine. So let's find out over the weekend as to when we are going to meet during the week, based on your schedules and based on your yeah.
Can I please suggest if we can be meeting sometimes in the week, like weekends? Because the weekdays, no, my examination is approaching, so I have to be going to campus early in the mornings, stuff.
The weekends, the only time that it's okay for me personally is Saturday.
Mm.
And the Saturday, even sometimes, it's not, I can't give you any assurance because sometimes people are doing this, they are inviting you to come, this, that. So let's see. If the Saturday will work, I'll let you all know. Then we meet on Saturday. If not, we'll try and meet in the week. During the weekday.
Okay.
Okay, Annette, any question, any comment before we go?
No, I'm okay. So I'll
Okay,
be
thank
in
you
touch.
so much, Annette. Yeah,
Yeah, the articles I can't find, probably your publications. I think I might come back to you for them. I'll check on it if I can't find them.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. And the last thing to say before we go, we need to set a time for ourselves. How long are we going? Because I don't want this thing to, if the thing keep on going, and the interest will just wind down. So we need to really set a realistic, we can think about it. The next time that we meet, we can bring it and we discuss it because the time is already gone. So let's think about a time that we are all going as to either 1 month more or 2 months more, so that we can see how we will plan our things and get a thing done. Because I don't want a situation where we'll be going, meeting.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking maybe a month, but like you said, I don't
As for the
want
month,
to.
the month is not realistic. Sorry.
Yeah, because if I had submitted my work for first progression, I would have been okay to make things as quick as possible. But because I have to submit it next month. They keep sending me reviews, and you understand when there are 3 supervisors, they all give comments. It's so hectic.
Okay.
It's so hectic.
I understand.
So, well, I'll still try my best anyway. If we set ourselves for like a month, I'll still try my best so that.
Okay.
Yeah, whichever.
I think we